Hi guys, it's Emily from Novelle Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my October wrap-up part 1. Now, this last weekend has been insane. In a future video, like I think it's like my November TBR, you'll hear it, Poorly Thomas. We've had a weekend of it where the kids have been poorly. Got a bit of a cold, that's normal flu season. But it's meant that my reading time, although I've read loads, I've not really enjoyed my books as much because I've just been focused on being a mum and looking after the kids. So I'm filming this bang on the 15th, so exactly halfway through the month, which makes a change. Tomorrow I'm going to Working with Charlie, which you'll see little pictures and stuff in the gratitude journal. And then Thursday I might be good bad books, I'm not sure. I've got I've got a doctor's appointment. Trying to get my brain meds sorted out. I want to get myself organised. I want to get myself prepared. I want to do stuff. Then working Friday, working Sunday. You know, the joys of jobs of working and doing everything else. I'm already going to give you a sneaky peek that in November I have decided that I'm going to do a video about living with disabilities in the winter. Because I do think it's something that needs to be shared and something that... doing my evolution of a booktuber video that went live yesterday. It's really like I just want to be me, and maybe it's okay that I don't get like massive amounts of views on all my videos, but I will keep doing the gratitude journal because they do make me happy. And yeah, maybe I've got to chill a bit more. Maybe I've got to stop worrying about figures. Maybe I've got to stop worrying about silly stuff and just enjoy what I do. In my wrap-up part, you know, my wrap-up and my gratitude journal, I will fill you in on everything else. But anyway, let's get talking about the books. So I'll show you the books I'm currently reading, although 2 of them will be finished today, so they will be finished by the time this video goes live. And I'll show you how my victober reading's going. Hint, hint, not the best. But there you go. So today I'm going to be finishing The Vicar of Bullhampton by Anthony Trollope. I don't know if it's my mindset or what is going on with me, but I'm not necessarily connecting with it. I feel like it's taken me a lot longer to read because, like, normally I'm trying to read like the classics as I would read a normal book, so like over a couple of days. But this, I'm finding I want to take my time, a bit more time reading. So I'm not sure how much of this I'm taking in. I know it's about Mary Lowther, I know about Carrie Brattle, they're very different women, and I know that I'm taking some of it in. Hopefully that this is what I'm going to keep so I can reread it when I'm feeling a bit brighter. But yeah, not loving it. Then, obviously, I'm reading throughout the whole course of the month The Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens. Again, I'm not necessarily connecting with it. I know about Pickwick. I like the poet Snodgrass, the lover Tupman. There's some of them I'm taking in, but I'm not taking in everything. So again, this is going to be a keepy. I'm hoping I'll take it in a bit better. I have got Great Expectations to read in the latter part of the month, but I'm saving that because I know I did love that, and I know that will get a high rating. So I'm hoping this one I'll just manage. And then something completely opposite, because as you would have seen, I'm going for witchy books because they are what I need, and this is Something Wicked by Gretchen Rue. The lovely cat from Brews and Reviews bought me this for my birthday, and it is just what I need. It's almost like a 5-star witchy book because I'm bloody loving it. I really, 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 really love it. Like, it's just what I need. It's fantasy mixed with contemporary, mixed with everything I need. This will get finished today, and is it wrong if I rate it 5 stars? You'll see it on my net wrap-up part 2, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So I will tell you, I have already had one DNF this month, and that was Sing Unburied Sing. That was my TBR jar pick. So the TBR jar did... Charlie said it would be too literary, and it really was. It's just not for me. I need to stop. If a book says literary fiction, I'm just not going to pick it up now. I'm almost tempted to do another try chapter and go through my books and see the books that I'm not 100% on, because yeah. And also, I don't want to pick next year. Remind me, do not put books in the TBR jar unless you really want to read them, because otherwise TBR jar's not doing what I like. I need to get I'm hoping the TBR jar does well this year, but next year, you know what I mean. So here we go with the actual books that I've read. So the first one I read is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It is only 3 stars. I feel like a bit like I'm letting Alice down a little bit. But it is my selection that lovely Chatty from The Mad Chatter got me. And again, I think I've tried to read one after another, and I tried to read them in too small amounts of time. But I'm not a massive short story fan. I did like it, and there were some of the earlier ones that I liked a lot more. So I think this is one I maybe need to just pick up and just do it like that and read it like that. So I'm keeping this one. It is good, but it just, some of them I liked, some of them, again, went in one ear and out the other. So maybe I need to read them. I've been trying to read them in the evening, so maybe I'll try and read them like during the day when I'm a bit more awake. Then to my 3.5 stars, and again I feel like I've let Katie down. The Doctor's Wife by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. Lady Audley's Secret by this author, I loved with every bit of my heart. It was one of my favourite books of the year that year. It was amazing, and this just was not good. I think maybe I compared it a bit too much to Madame Bovary, which I really enjoyed. Isabel Gilbert is trapped in a marriage to a man incapable of understanding her imaginative life. It is about affairs and things like that, and about like love, and it's all right. It was 3.5 stars. It was all right, and I think maybe I'll keep it. I'll keep it because I need to keep it, but it just wasn't as good as I wanted to be. It's a group read for victober, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. I do tend to keep my classics anyway, so that's probably why. Because sometimes, a lot of the time, the classics you need to reread them. But now to my 4 stars. I've got 6 4 stars. 5 4.5 stars, and 3 5 stars. So again, what is going on with me? Is it just that 4 stars is my thing at the moment? Because last month I was just 4 stars. It feels like 4 star is all it's going to get for me, but it's going okay. Just think it's going okay. Bear in mind, by the way, that I'm filming this on the 15th. 2 books will get finished today. So that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. So 16 books at least would have been read. Oh, 16, 7, I don't know. I think I've done well. So I'm filming this on the 15th. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 books on the 15th. I'm still like 1 book ahead of when I finish the other 2. So that's pretty good, isn't it? What is that, 16? Oh, I don't know, my brain has got brain fog. Be warned, guys, in the future coming up videos, I have got real brain fog at the moment. I don't know if it's because I'm not sleeping, or because of the old age, or what, but I have got very severe brain fog at the moment, so I don't know how much sense I'm going to make. But the first of the 4 star books is a book that I don't have on me currently right now, because I've given it back to the library, and that was Sisterhood by Kathy Kelly. That was a properly good book. I really, really enjoyed it. Sisters, it was emotional, very, very emotional when I was reading it, but it was really good. I love Kathy Kelly's contemporaries, and I'm glad I picked it up. It's one of her newer releases, and I got it from the library, and I'm just so glad I did. The next one is the last in a trilogy, so this will be a mum one, and this is Night Train to Marrakesh by Dinah Jeffries. And this was really, really good. I think it ended very different from the first 2 books, but it ended the series, the trilogy so well, and I'm so glad I read it. I need to go and get rid of the whole trilogy because it's not a trilogy I will keep again, but I like Daughters of War and I like them all, but yeah, this kind of got my heart a bit. It is very fast paced, it is very like sad, it's got very like highs and lows, and it's but it's a really, really good book, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was 4 stars, but it was a good 4 stars, and I think it was one I started the month with. And it's just about, I can't really say too much because obviously it is the 3rd in the series, but it's set in Marrakesh 1966, and it does still talk about war, and you do go back to the past timelines, but it's about, yeah, it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So that's a mummy one. Another mummy one that she can borrow is Pre-Loved by Lauren Bravo. This was one of my gifts by my anonymous booktube gifter, Amazon gifter, and this was good. It wasn't a 5 star like I was hoping it was going to be, but it was really good. A lot of it, there is bits set in the charity shop, so I think this is actually might be one of the rare contemporaries that I keep, because again I might reread it because it was really good. Gwen is basically a very lonely person. She's not close to her parents, she's not close to her exes, or she hasn't really got any friends. She's only got a few friends, and she's having a hard time, and she's lonely. And then she searches for connection, and she works in a charity shop, and it is really good. Really good contemporary. Like I said, not necessarily 5 stars, but it is a good one. Next to Charles Dickens' Alive by Claire Tomlin. I read Jane Austen in Life by Claire Tomlin, and I loved it. This I enjoyed because I'm just realising I need to take all my book thingies off before I get back to the charity shop. I think I found it fascinating. I didn't know much about Charles Dickens as a person. Reading, like I said, I'm not like Katie. I'm not a true lover of his work. I'm very much hit and miss with Charles Dickens. But the more I found out about him, I think he's a complete prat. He was a complete and utter. He was a cheat. There is lots of, if you don't want to know about him, wait until I put this book down. But what a cheating, manipulative bastard. Sorry to use swear words. But he was not nice to his family. He was not nice to his wife. He was not a great person. And I don't know if this is going to affect my reading his books going forward. Yeah, there are spoilers for other books, for some of his books in here, so you do need to bear in mind that. Don't get me wrong, he wrote some of the best books in English literature, and he was an amazing author, and he was a great writer. But as a person, I don't like him, and I don't plan to read any more non-fiction on him. Kate Howard just talked about this, and I think she talked about other authors in one of her videos. Other authors that were like him, male authors, and I think that's affected. He was friends with a lot of authors of the time, but there were some of the authors at the time that he didn't necessarily like. Some of them are my favourites. There was bits about Wilkie Collins in here, and I'm not necessarily sure how to take that because I like Wilkie Collins' books more than I like Charles Dickens. But I need to read. I think I want to read a bit more about Wilkie Collins to find out if he was like Charles Dickens. It may have been the males of that era. I don't necessarily know. But I don't want to gender type them. Anthony Trollope, right? He was friends with Anthony Trollope as well. And again, I don't necessarily, we didn't hear too much about him, but this is fascinating. But it really did change my opinion on the bloke. So that's straight away going to the charity shop. Now to a book that I was reading for a tandem read along, and it's Leanne Moriarty's latest book. It's a proof copy, so I can't give it away. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it because it's not necessarily what I want to reread. So if there is anyone that wants it, please let me know. I think I'm allowed to gift it to someone because it is a proof. I'm not sure. I know you're not allowed to sell it or any other distribution, so I might have to keep it. I don't know. My review is on Goodreads. No, it's on Goodreads and it's on Instagram and it's on Amazon. So I have got a thorough review. It is a good book. It is, but it wasn't my favourite of hers. It did take me a lot to connect it. It does talk about the sidekicks, and the lead character is a sidekick in this. And as a Christian, for me, that was challenging because I'm not necessarily a believer of that. Again, I'm each to your own. Please believe whatever you want. I'm never a judgmental person. But I did find that slightly struggling. It was a thought breaker. It was a book that really got me thinking, because it is about how one moment, and it talks about how one moment can change everything. And like, if you heard you were going to die at a set age, would that affect how you were going to live your life? What would you do? Would you live recklessly? What would you do? And those sort of life-altering thoughts did cross my mind, and I did really think about them. But it wasn't necessarily as good as some of her other books. Like, I loved Big Little Lies, 9 Perfect Strangers. I loved a lot of her other books. Apples Never Fall I thought was good. It necessarily wasn't amazing. I think I'll keep it for a bit. Just not sure. But yeah, my review is on Goodreads. Thank you so much for Tandem for that, because it was an ad PR product. It just wasn't necessarily my favourite. Now to a book that I'm going to give to Charlie, because Charlie wants to have it. And this is This Family by Kate Sawyer. This is 4 stars. It was a very good contemporary. It was only out last year. I think it was a relatively new release. It is about family. It's about connections and things like that. And it is a good book. Again, it wasn't necessarily one that took me. I didn't fall in love with it. It took me a bit of time to get into. And I wasn't necessarily sure about the family connections in it straight away. Mary has raised a family in this house. She's watched her daughters play and laugh and bicker in their rooms. And now, on a late summer's day, she's getting married here. And she summoned her fractured family to celebrate. It is a good family book about connections, about siblings, about, you know, so many different things. Didn't necessarily love it, but it was a good book. So that's a Charlie book. Now it's a book that I have to give back to the charity shop because I can't keep this on my shelf. But this is my surprise of the month. This is the start of the 4.5 stars. And I'm surprised this is 4.5 stars because it is bloody big. And it is the biggest book I've owned. I think I've now got a bit slightly bigger on my shelves. And this is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I enjoyed this more than I've enjoyed a classic in a bloody long time. You're asking me why I'm giving it away. This copy isn't necessarily the best copy. And I've got no room on my shelves for it. But I am so glad I read this. Apparently it's a bit of a retelling of Vanity Fair, and I didn't necessarily like Vanity Fair, but this was really good. It's set in the south of America, and it's set at a time when things were changing. I don't necessarily know. It's set at the American Civil War, and it talks about Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler, and oh my god, it is. Like I said, it took me a while to read it, but it's one of those classics where I couldn't wait to pick it up every day. I couldn't wait to read it and find out what was going on. I thought the ending was great. It was tragic. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of war. There's a lot of racism. Some of the language in it is very much set in this time. You have to imagine yourself. But it's one of those classics I think everyone should read. Yes, it's not a Victorian classic, but it really has reignited my love for classics, because this is the kind of classic that I enjoyed so much more than I thought I would. It's 4.5 stars. It can't be 5 stars because it wasn't perfect. There is some elements that you think not amazing, but the fact that I couldn't wait to pick it up every day, that tells you how good it was. The fact that I wanted to read more every day than I was going to read, it tells you. The fact that I couldn't wait to pick it up, it tells you how good it was. And yeah, I think if I ever get a better copy, or ever find a copy, another copy, I will get another copy of this, because this was so good. And yes, it is writing of its time, but you know, actually, you're just, yeah, it was good. Now to my other classic that was 4.5 stars, and this is Poor Miss Finch by Wilkie Collins. And I don't think Katie loved this as much as she loved some of the other Wilkie Collins. Again, I'm not sure if I'm rating it higher because of the disability rep, which I found fascinating. Yes, it's not necessarily perfect. It's not necessarily apt, and there are some bits that are challenging because it's written in the Victorian era, and you have to bear that in mind when you're reading this. But it is probably my favourite classic of the Victober so far. And Wilkie Collins has yet to disappoint. Yes, I didn't love Arundel, but I loved The Woman in White. I loved his other work, and this is just brilliant. I'm reading No Name next year, and I just can't. For me, Wilkie Collins' writing is just brilliant. It's an intriguing story about a blind girl, Lucilla Finch, and the identical twins who both fall in love with her. And it does talk about like blindness, and it doesn't necessarily. But there's another lead character that's the narrator throughout it, which I thought was done fascinatingly. And it's just. It really does explore the idea of blindness, certainly in its time, and about love, and about like things, and it was just really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. I love Wilkie Collins books. This is one I can see me going back and rereading. And when I do Spoonies next year, please someone get this and read this. It was flipping amazing. I loved it. Now to my library book that I need to give back, and that is Clover Cottage by Chrissy Barlow. I think this is like the 3rd book in the series. I haven't read the first 2 actually, but I've read the ones later than this. But it was just what I needed. It was absolutely brilliant. It was a cosy contemporary. It talks about love. It's set in Love Heart Lane. It's about the vet Rory Scott, who inherits the ramshackle Clover Cottage in Hartcross, and about Ali MacDonald, who is his partner, and about dreams, and about. There is a trigger in this, so please bear in mind, if you want to know the trigger, let me know, ask me it at some point, because I won't be giving that away because it's a big time spoiler. But it's a beautiful, like, lovely book, and I love this series, and it's a cosy contemporary, and it was just what I needed. With all the classics, I'm having to read way more contemporaries, and I didn't put enough contemporaries on my TBR, which is why I've read a lot more, and I've got more, like, classic-y kind of books up on my shelves and non-contemporary. So, although you can see a few contemporaries added on here, there will be more added on throughout the month. So the last no, I've got no 2 more contemporaries that are 3 now, 4.5 stars. It just tells you they've just come just when I need them. And this is the last in the Hedgehog Hollow series. It was Christmas Miracles. It was a lot better than the one before that. Again, I can't talk about it because it's the last in the series. But it is set in the Christmas time, and it's set a year on from the previous book. And Samantha and Fizz are the lead characters in this. So Samantha's the lead character in all of them, but Fizz is the lead character in this one. Again, there are triggers in this. There are quite a few actually. So please, if you want to know what the triggers are, if you're triggered by certain things that happen, certain things, you're going to need to be aware of that going in. But it was brilliantly, it wrapped up the whole series really well. I'm keeping that. That is my keepy. So I've got a few keepies. And then The Vintage Shop by Libby Page is my last 4.5 stars. It is one that Mum is definitely going to love. Mum will 100% love this. And this is One Dress, 3 Women, A Lifetime of Secrets. Chris Scott. Libby Page's books do not disappoint me. I really, really enjoy them. It's great contemporary writing. 3 women, 1 dress. How it all connects. How, like, uncovering the secrets of the yellow dress. And about family, and about friendships, and about community, and about antique stuff. And it's just really, 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 really good. I really enjoyed it. My favourite is definitely going to be the older lady Maggie in this. She's 100% my favourite. But I did like the other leading ladies, Donna and Lou. Probably Lou the most. But again, it's just about 3 very different women. All got connections to One Dress and how it all connects them. And their sort of storylines and everything interlink brilliantly. And it's just feel good. But now to the last 3 books. And then I'll show you the books that I'm only onto my TBR. So I have better stop rambling. This is The Vanishing of Evelyn Jones by Phil Hicks, and it's the last in the Evelyn Jones series. I believe he's written one more. He's got another book that's out, but it's not with this series, so I will see it. It's on my wish list. I will look for it and hopefully get it soon. But I can't believe he's finished the Evelyn Jones series. But it's a middle grade horror, so I read it for Gothtober, and it scared the bejeebers out of me. It literally scared the pants out of me. I normally like reading like middle grade books in the evening. I had to stop reading it one night because I was proper scared. Yes, I'm a giant wimp. Charlie Brooke from Charlie Brooke Reads will tell you I'm the biggest wimp going. But this scared the bejeebers out of me. But it was so flipping good. I blooming loved it. It ends the series really well. It's got, obviously we've got Harold and her friend is in this, and they're going off to and it's very much about dark supernatural activities. There are a lot of supernatural in this. But it didn't, like, it scared me, but I still wanted to read it. Like, I just couldn't read it in the night. But it was just so bloody good. I read it so quickly, and it was just what I needed. Like, really, really what I needed, and I loved it. Then to The Trials of Apollo, next Trials of Apollo book, and this is a Dark Prophecy. This is the second book. I know Kat didn't enjoy this as much as she wanted to. She rated it 4 stars. For me, it was still 5, because it's Rick Riordan and it's fantasy. And again, it was just what I needed. It was supposed to funny read it. She was on holiday and she ended up reading it all in one day. Typical bloody Cat. But this is about Leo Valdez. Leo's really in this and Calypso's in it, and they're both with Apollo. And I love that obviously we still get a reappearing character. And I love the fact that it still links back to Camp Half-Blood, and it does link back to that. But I love Leo in this. I love the series. I don't think I like this series as much as I love the Heroes of Olympus series. But it is still good. It's fantasy. It's just, again, just what I needed. And then last but not least, this is The Red Monarch by Bella Ellis. And this is my favourite of the month. It's about the Brontes. I need to go and put this back on my shelf. Oh, I've got more keepies this month. What's going on? I never have keepies. Maybe it's because they're all like certain ones like me. But I've got to get the next in the series, which is full price on Amazon. And I can't find it anywhere for anything second hand. So I think I'm going to end up having to buy it full price. Because I think I will be doing the Bronte thing in March, my birthday. So I will definitely be reading the 4th book for that. And it's about the Brontes, and it's about a mystery. And again, it's a bit spooky, a bit scary, a bit like thrillerish, a bit more. It's more thriller than horrorish. But the Brontes are going to go to London to help their someone that Anne knows, Lydia Robinson. And it's about a mystery in there. But I like Bramwell's in this a little bit more this time. And I like the fact Bramwell's character in this, because we all know he's a bit of a div. He was a bit of an alcoholic. He wasn't exactly the well-known. But there are bits in this that proper broke me, because obviously we all know that Charlotte Bronte lived the longest and Anne Emily died before her, and it starts the book in sort of more in the future of this book, and when she's on her own and she doesn't have her siblings anymore, and that bit broke me because she's not got her siblings and she loved them, and obviously we know that really did happen. I know the mystery's all made up. Bella Ellis is like a thingy. I think it's a pen name for this author. But God, I loved it, and I loved the sisters, and I loved how different they are, and I just loved it. I liked the first book in this series, but I loved the first book. I didn't love the second book, but I bloody loved this. This was just, oh my God, it was really good. I bloody loved it. Yeah, if you like mysteries, if you like the Brontes, like Gemma books, she would love that. She would absolutely love it. Now, I don't want this video to be more than half an hour, so I'm going to show you swiftly what books I'm adding to the TBR for the month. The first one is one that I'm adding to my Victober TBR, and that is Mrs. Warren's Profession by I think it's George Bernard Shaw. And it is a play. I got you one. I told Roz from Scully Down about the book. Her prompt was to read a play, and I think this is a play. This is a student kind of copy. So actually, even though I paid £1 for it, the actual book is not long. It's like 100 pages, so I should be able to fly through it. Yeah. The actual whole play is like about 100 pages, so I will be able to fly through it. But it's a play, it's a thingy, and it counts. I don't know very much about it. Right. It's one of the best known and most controversial plays of all time, apparently. In this modern and relevant classic, Kitty Warren returns from abroad to visit her daughter, the Cambridge-educated Vivi, for the first time in years. What follows is no ordinary family reunion, but revelations of incest, illegitimacy and prostitution. Bloody hell, this sounds good. And it will change the size, of course. This just looks really, really good. Oh, I picked a good one. Yay! See, I matched your bras. That'll get read relatively soon. But I'm having, once I've read The Vicar of Bullhampton, I do it alternate it, so I alternate my classics to my other books. So that I don't know where in the course of that. The next one is a contemporary. This is called The Mismatch by Zara Jafari. I bought this for my birthday last year. I don't know which order of these classics I'm going to read. Probably because I've got a long book that I need to read next. I might read my shorter book next. And this is Zara would never fall in love with someone like Magnus. He's a complete opposite in every which way. Popular and confident, Magnus seems to have his life figured out, whereas Zara is 21 and has somehow never been kissed. Zara's mother, Nida, knows what it feels like to be mismatched. She and her husband left Iran in the wake of the revolution, and aftershocks of that decision are still being felt decades later. So when Zara sets her sights on Magnus for the first kiss, the last thing she imagines is first love. It's quite long, it's like 440 odd pages, but I'm looking forward to trying it. Then to my other shorter contemporary, which will be the next book I'm going to be picking up, so I'm tempted to leave it down here. And this is The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. This looks so much fun. I know Christina Lauren is 2 authors. It's 308 pages. I'll pick this up soon. And this is The Honey Don't List. So I think this is one of our older books. For the last decades, Carrie Douglas has poured her heart into working for the Trips. Now, the new show, a book about to launch, and a brand built on their marriage. The couple are on the verge of superstardom. There's only one problem: they can't stand each other. Ooh. With disaster looming, the Trips embark on their book tour, and Carrie is given the impossible task of keeping the quarrelling couple in line. Only this time she has a companion, James McCann, an engineering whiz, know-it-all, and enticing new addition to the team. While on the road, James and Carrie vow to work together to keep their boss's secrets hidden. But if they stop playing along and start playing for keeps, they might actually have a chance of building something beautiful together. That looks really good. Now to my biggest book that I'm showing you, because I'm killing myself off here. This is 540 odd pages. But it's Lucinda Riley. It's one of my oldest books on the TBR. And like I said to you, I'm trying to get through my oldest books. And this is set in Rye has a secret from 1914 called The Century of Heartache. Troubled by recent loss, Grania Ryan has returned to Ireland in the arms of her loving family. It's on here on the cliff edge that she meets the young girl Aurora, who will beautifully, profoundly change her life. Mysteriously drawn to Aurora, Granier discovers that the histories of their family are strangely and deeply entwined. From a bittersweet romance in wartime London to a troubled relationship in contemporary New York, from devotion to family and child to forgotten memories of a lost brother, the Ryans and the Lales, past and present, have been entangled for a century. This looks really good, but it does look long. Then to another short book, because I've got a long book, so I wanted a short book, and this is Emma Donoghue's book, Haven. This is a bit literary. I bought this, I spent a bit of money on this because I was going to buy it full price. Again, I've been a bit hit and miss with this author, but it is, how many pages? It's only 250 pages, so it's quite a short book, and it's set in 7th century Ireland, so it's very, very old history, about a priest who has a dream telling him to leave the simple world behind. Taking 2 months with him, he travels down to Shannon in search of the isolated spot on which is to find a new place of worship. I think Angela from reading off my shelf didn't like this as much, so I'm going to give it a go. Then to another, I think this is not necessarily witchy. This is Could It Be Magic by Melanie Rose. It's not necessarily a witchy book, but I nearly picked this up last month, and it's more about like sliding doors, like time swap kind of thing. Can life really change in a flash? So Jessica Taylor finds herself in the middle of a thunderstorm, and she gets hit by lightning. And then when she wakes up, wakes up in a hospital bed, but in someone else's body, split between her old life and that of Lauren Richardson, wife and mother of 4 young children. Jessica must grapple with temper tantrums and marriage mishaps, whilst desperately trying to get back to Frankie, the terrier, and a blossoming relationship. But as she learns about the woman whose designer shoes she now stands, she begins to discover new things about herself. Will Jessica get back to the life as she knows it, or will she even want to be? Intriguing. Looking forward to trying it. And then last but not least, my library books that will be read soon and like that. And this is The Island of Myths and Miracles. It looks dark. It looks spooky for the time. It looks like one of Jem would like. It's only just over 200 pages. It's short, and I like short, and it's set in 1830. A young novice called Catherine Laborde was granted a vision by the Virgin Mary. Nearly 200 years later, Sister Anne is waiting for the miracle, which is why she accepts a mission to go on a tiny island off the coast of Brittany. There she meets the son of a devout family who prefers to look for the meaning in life, and also amongst the stars, and unworldly teenagers who doesn't fit in. Okay. This looks interesting. Let's give it a go. So, yeah. This is very much it's been a real mixed month so far. I wonder how its second half's going to go. This is a very long video and I'm really sorry. But what have you been enjoying reading? What's your favourite book of Victober so far if you're joining in? Tell me. I love talking to you guys in this book. I think if you got to the end of this video, I think, I'm trying to think of an emoji. I don't know why. I've got an emoji of having stars because this is the Island of Myths and Miracles and I like the idea of stars. So do a star emoji if you got to the end of this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. Ring on my ding-a-ling. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.